everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That gentleman right there is Devin, and what we got up for you today on the chopping block is the New Mutants.
Damn, don't sound so excited.
I'm just saying, dude.
This isn't a hospital, it's a cage.
It's important we find out your power so we can help you get better.
I had to like slap my face a couple times to keep myself awake for this movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So this movie was actually filmed in 2017. It was supposed to release in 2018, and it had a whole bunch of reshoots in 2019. And it released in 2020, and I can definitely see why. The dialogue was ugh. The story was messily put together, and the graphics was good.
Let's talk about the story, though. I thought the beginning was actually really good. The story follows this girl. She is a Native American. She was on her reservation, and she's like, she gets woken up in the middle of what she thinks is a tornado, and she's running from this tornado, and it kills everyone. So she ends up at this hospital. Now, how she ends up at this hospital is never really explained. There's like one line about how the hospital's employer, a hospital's owner, can sense new mutants. But outside of that, there's really no explanation of who picked her up, how she got there, all that good stuff. She just wakes up again. She's in this hospital. She's filled with, the hospital has 5 or 6 other young teenagers there who are also mutants. Yeah. She didn't realize she was a mutant, and so this movie mostly just follows her discovering her powers, and we discover the powers of her fellow hospital mates.
And to be honest with you, the other hospital, the other teens, their powers are way better than hers. I mean,
really, I thought her power is good. That's a really good power. You can't do anything with a sword. A sword. That's a lame power. What are you gonna do with a sword?
Just the pyro guy.
Okay, like, and then the other guy, he couldn't. The power guy didn't do anything. He just jumps in the pool.
Well, yeah, because he was a little punk. He was afraid. I burnt my girlfriend. No. Okay, but then the other dude. This dude had the least character development of all of them. The guy that killed his father on accident. I was just like, his story seemed very intriguing to me. And then the chick, what you talking about with the sword, who were those long face people? Who was that? Do you know who they are? Do you see them in the comic books? Who were they?
I'm not sure they were in the comics, but in the movie, they seem to be like her mental image of, it seemed like she was molested or maybe raped or almost got molested. And I guess, it's vague as to whether or not there was actually any sexual abuse, but because one of her powers was that she could disappear to like another universe that she called Limbo. So I'm assuming she could have disappeared before anything bad happened, but I don't know. But yeah, they were just like the manifestation of the faceless people who attempted or actually did molest her as a small child.
All right.
So just to be clear, we talked about the Native American characters' powers. Danny Moonstar.
I want to say Moonshine.
I always get it. I think it's Moonstar. I always forget her name in the comics too. I can't remember if it's Moonstar or Moonstone. Anyway, she has the power to create whatever your biggest fear is. She can manifest it physically.
She's basically the Scarecrow in Batman without the drugs.
Well, but no, because Scarecrow, his are illusions. Hers are real. So she can like make it real. So like, I think that's a really good power. Like, if you're afraid of like Chucky's will be right there.
You little shit! Do you know what you've done? It's too late. I've spent too much time in this body. I'm fucking trapped in here.
He's there for real. It's not an illusion. Yeah.
Pow! I was never afraid of him, by the way.
Oh, I so scared of Chucky. Oh my god.
No way, man.
Oh my god.
I wish I had.
I have a sister. And she had so many dolls. Oh my gosh.
Man.
Can you turn the lights out and I'm like Please don't start moving.
I wish I had a good Mr. Was it good guy? Yeah, give me a good guy.
Yeah, good guy doll.
No, thank you. Have him in the corner talking about, come out and play, Devin. You're my best friend.
Hi, I'm Chucky. I'm Chucky. Hey, wanna play? Hi, I'm Tommy, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho. Heidi ho. Ha ha ha.
No, thank you. No.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, her power could be cool, but as for this movie, like the other ones just seem a little bit cool. Like the werewolf chick, she was pretty cool, man. The way she transformed, it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now her stuff. When you talking about molestation, I think those priests did something to her.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Yeah, because she was afraid of like these Catholic priests. And well, we do know that one of them burned her.
Yeah, they burned her.
Burned a W on her back. So that's pretty bad. The W stands for witch, they thought.
Freaking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, and because of Danny Moon's power, Danny's power, they became real. Yeah, exactly. Danny something.
Yeah.
The priest came real, and they branded her again on her neck. I thought that was pretty scary.
Now, there's something interesting about this is that if you notice, they connected this film to Logan.
You're right, with the
Essex Corporation, and it's like all those kids. The way that Danny Moonstar was saying, the way that she would basically, she said that she thinks that this facility is a training unit to where they get done here and they ship them off to that facility or something like that.
Well, they thought initially, Danny originally thought that they were being trained to become X-Men. But the Essex Corporation is run by Mr. Sinister, so clearly they were trained for something.
Mr.
worse.
Sinister.
So,
okay, let the crowd know
right.
who Mr. Sinister is.
He is a mutant from the X-Men comics. And I think he became really popular because of Fox's kids show, the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where he like really became more popular.
Man.
I honestly can't remember Mr. Sinister's power off the top of my head, but I remember really liking him. I like the character a lot, and a lot of people have been expecting him to pop up in an X-Men movie at some point. And there is, this is a slight tangent. I'll get back on topic in a second here, but there was a rumor that they actually did cast somebody to be Mr. Sinister, and that person was John Hamm. Now the thing about it is, the director claims that no one was cast to be Mr. Sinister, but the producers say that yes, there was someone cast for Mr. Sinister. What is true, I don't know, but that's the talk.
Well, the horror element in this, because when this movie was like being promoted, they were saying like, oh, this is not going to be like any other X-Men thing that you've seen before. It's going to be a little bit darker. It's going to have horror elements in it. And it did have a tad bit of horror elements in there, but nothing to the point of like, oh, paranormal activity or anything of that nature.
Okay, so I guess we're going to talk about the most interesting part about the movie now. And it's not actually the movie, it's the stuff around the movie. It's all the reshoots and all that stuff. So supposedly, Fox, like you said, this movie was filmed in 2017. It was supposed to come out in 2018. Supposedly, Fox finished the film. They said apparently they were done in 2017, and Fox liked it. It tested really well. It said it tested just as good as Deadpool, so they were really excited to put it out. But the movie It came out, and it was a smash hit, and Fox wanted to capitalize on what they thought was a trend at the time, these horror films. So what they did, to test this, they cut a version of the trailer into like horror music and made it seem scary, and that trailer became really popular. And it's actually a really good trailer. It's really good. I thought it was a super like interesting trailer. The trailer is way more interesting than the movie, I think. But after the trailer was super well received and everyone was really interested, they delayed the movie to have some massive reshoots to make it seem to change the tone of the film to make it scary. So there is a cut of this film where it's not scary. I don't know what the tone is, but they reshot it to make it scary, and that's most of that. Those reshoots are what ended up in the final film, but there were even more reshoots.
Yeah,
after that too. There was a lot.
The main reshoot the main shot that I can think that had like a horror element is when the kid, that's the pyro kid that I said earlier, that where he burnt his girlfriend. She comes up out of the pool as a skeleton, as a burnt skeleton,
right.
And that effect. I'll tell you this one thing about 20th Century Fox: they know visual effects. Okay, it's like they're like top notch. You know what I'm saying? So
I thought the bear was kind of.
Oh, the bear. The bear was kind of touching, like had mist instead of a body.
Yeah, I think it was misty because it was like dissolving at the end.
And then when she was petting him at the end, because by the end of the film, all 5 of them have a chance to get out of this facility. That's basically a cage that the doctor is holding them in, and the doctor tries to kill Danny Moonstar, and so they all band together because Danny Moonstar, her power, which is she keeps talking about this bear, where there's a good bear and there's an evil bear, and whichever one you feed is the one that's going to come out, or whichever one that's like the one that you're most afraid of, something like that. And
yeah, she talked about it was a story that her father told her about how you've got a bear inside of you, and it's like it represents fear, and the more as you get older, you get more afraid of things, and the bear inside you gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So her fear was when she made it real, turned into like this big nightmare bear, and it was like as big as the hospital. It was huge.
Yeah, and it starts ripping everything apart. The bear actually does a good thing and kills the doctor, because the doctor was set to order by X Corporation, yeah, to kill Danny Moonshine, and so but the chick, what was her name too? The wolf girl. She really likes Rain. Yeah, she really likes Danny, and they actually formed a romantic combination together. And she goes in there, she saves her, she scratches up the doctor and everything, because the doctor was putting like this fluid inside in this IV bag to basically put her to sleep. She was telling a story about, putting it. I was like, dang, that sucks. So
no, I mean, I see this was a big problem to me about the film, is like that doctor would have been a lot more successful if she just shut up. Like, or instead of telling a story about how she's putting the cow down while she's injecting this little girl, I mean, the girl probably wouldn't have freaked out, and none of this would have happened. So I was talking to my sister about this film. I was like, beyond that, she could have just shot her. Just she's got all the locks to all the doors. Just say, everybody go to your room, lock the door, open Danny's door, shoot her in the face, boom. And then when someone asks what happened, she'll just say, oh, she committed suicide. And everyone will believe it because she tried to commit suicide earlier. So I don't know why they did this long, like, ridiculous thing where they like tried to inject her with some kind of poison or something.
And they have to make the story develop and give the doctor some type of reason for the bear to actually come and eat her. And which was, I thought the bear was gonna actually eat her, but no, he just chewed on her and spit her out at the ground. I was like, it's not really horror to me.
Well, they picked up her shoe and it was just filled with blood. So that's pretty scary. I think that was a Stephen King reference too. Yeah. Because in what was that movie? It was Pet Sematary. In Pet Sematary, the little boy gets hit by a car. Yeah. And his father picks up his shoe and it's just filled with blood. And so I think that was a Stephen King reference with the shoe with the blood.
It's pretty cool. I don't know what made me think of this. When you said about her father. Okay, so when she was asleep in the other world, when Danny Moonshine, she was asleep in the other world, and where the spirits of the dead go, and she saw her father in the tree.
Oh, I mean, she was like passed out.
Passed
at the
out,
end?
yeah, at the end. And
Mm-hmm,
her father
mm-hmm.
came, and her father was like, "You gotta get up. You gotta wake up now, and you gotta beat this bear." And then she was like, "He's too strong. Oh no, he's too big." And then I started laughing because he said, "You're bigger."
Right.
I was like, huh? I was like, that's such a cheesy line. And he said it with a straight face too. He's like, "You're bigger." And he just got up and walked off. I'm like, and then she's like, she got those 2 words, "You're bigger," and got the encouragement to wake up and help save her friends. And she, I guess when it comes to her being bigger, all she did was just say no.
Well, I think I think her father was saying, I think I was part of the story that she had forgotten or she didn't really think about, that the bear was inside of her. So if it's inside you, you're bigger. So I think that's what.
Yeah.
That's something she forgot.
The way he explained it, he made it seem like she's literally bigger than a bear.
Well, I gotta admit something here. I didn't hate this movie, and I know that people like slam dunking all over this film, so I was kind of expecting like something really interesting to happen here, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be funny or something good. I thought the movie was fine. I didn't hate the film, and I was kind of surprised by that. I thought this movie would be so much worse, especially after all the delays, all the reshoots. That the fact that we got this movie is like a miracle. I think this isn't that bad.
I don't know. Maybe I expected, like, when it comes to, like I said, the visual effects was top notch. And then the fact, it's just certain things, like when she walked in there and then the blonde head chick, she automatically didn't like her. I'm like, why don't you like her? You know what I'm saying?
Well, because she didn't trust anyone because of her previous issues with strangers and people she didn't know.
That's so weird. That's weird to me. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I thought this movie was fine. It was perfectly right down the middle. Totally fine. And as a matter of fact, not only was it just fine and right down the middle, an X-Men movie that's fine and right down the middle.
It's hard to come by.
Is better. It's better than almost every X-Men movie that's ever come out. So I'm like, this is fine. It's better than Dark Phoenix, which was the one before this one, and it was better than what was the one before Dark Phoenix? I can't remember. It's the best movie since Days of Future Past. Actually, I think this one was probably better than Days of Future Past.
Hold yourself.
It's fine.
Hold yourself, my bearded friend. You think it's better than Days of Future Past? Days of Future Past had everything involved with it.
Days of Future Past was a lot like this movie, in that it was fine. It was just like there, you know. If someone's like, "Hey, what's a movie?" I'll just say that's a movie. It's not a good movie or a bad movie. It's just movie, and that's kind of what Days of Future Past was for me. That's what this movie is. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It's nothing. I mean, there was a story. You know, it wasn't told that great, but you know, it's fine. It was just a fine movie. I got nothing to dunk on. The movie gave me nothing to like. And it gave me nothing to dislike. It began and it ended. There was a little middle part. There were characters, and then the credits rolled. I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. Would I recommend this movie? Maybe.
I recommend it for certain performances in this. Like I said, the Kentucky kid. He's from Stranger Things. Really, really good actor.
He thought he was bad in this movie though.
He was bad in this movie because his accent was
awful.
Was off double.
Everyone's accent was bad. Everyone who had to put on an accent, it was bad. Like the blonde hair girl played by Anna Taylor-Joy, she has this like ridiculous Russian accent. I think it's Russian. It's awful. And then the other girl who was the wolf girl, her name is Rain. She had like a Scottish accent, atrocious. And then the other guy had like a Kentucky accent, horrific. Like everyone's accents were really bad.
Man. What do you do, man? And then like his accent would fade in and fade out. Like when the action started to happen, it went straight to like regular kid. You know.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
but again, that's pretty consistent for X-Men. Halle Berry's accent, she had a thick like African accent in X-Men 1, but then X-Men 2 she had no accent at all, and no one said anything. So it's like, yeah, okay, it comes in and out. X-Men is this X-Men as a series. When you look back on it, to me, is a very dodgy, hit or miss series.
Yes,
and
it's an up and down roller coaster of entertainment.
And okay, if you want to call it a roller coaster, that's good. This is just like a middle part of the roller coaster. We're just kind of coasts. It wasn't down. No, it wasn't down. It wasn't up. It was just like there. And for X-Men, it's like, hey, good job.
Okay, well, for that matter, when it comes to this film, my rating of this is in the middle, man. I can't get it above a 5 or below a 5.
That's my rating too. It is a perfect 5. I
think because I feel different for it. I feel different about it watching it, and I like every time I watch a film, especially a superhero film, I have expectations for it to blow me away, and it didn't blow me away. You know,
I expect every film I watch to look like this, just be there, just to be a film. And this movie was that. And when there's no, but I'll be honest with you. A lot of movies can't clear the hurdles that this movie cleared. It had a plot, and it had characters, and there was a mystery, and there were reveals, and there were turns, and these are the basic necessities you need for a story. And most movies can't do any of that. They don't even come close to it. So I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Okay. We agree to disagree and also agree to agree on this film.
I'm gonna piss you off for a second, though, Tyrone. And I'm looking into the future. I think this is the future. I'm the editor, so we'll find out this is the future or not. But I couldn't help think about.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
The Crow.
God damn!
So I think by the time this comes out, we wouldn't have released our Crow talk. But the Crow.
Listen, people, you ain't gotta listen to him on this part. You ain't gotta listen to him on this part. Just fast forward to the next part.
The Crow had no story, and that's a pretty popular film. So I'm like, this was like, it had a story. I'm like, okay, fine.
Oh man.
So you gave this movie a 5, and I too would give it a 5. It is a perfect 5. I've never seen a film somersault and land a perfect 5 like this. Just like boom, absolutely bland like water. Just there. It has all the pieces you need.
Ain't got no ripples. It's a stand.
No ripples. Yep, still water. That's all it is. But some movies, it's just an empty cup. There's nothing in there. So I'm like, fine.
I tell you what, the Crow ain't no damn empty cup because his father talked about being water.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or creep or drip or crash. Be water, my friend.
Okay.
None of that was in the Crow. So you're quoting Bruce Lee, who is Brandon Lee's father, who's in the Crow. Nothing what you just said was in the Crow. Not a single sentence. So that's why the Crow was like blah. And this movie is fine. It's fine. This movie's okay. It's fine.
You gotta add that. You gotta add that water joint. You gotta put that in the edit, okay?
So I kind of have it here on my phone. The most interesting part of this film, like you talked about, is the backstory. It's all the stuff that how we got here, how this film got here, and how come we didn't see this movie 3 years ago when it was supposed to come out. Why are we watching it now? So, like you said, this movie was shot in 2017. And if you've noticed from the trailer, all these guys are kids. So doing reshoots later would be an issue because they'll age, and they did. But this movie had a gajillion reshoots, right? It started off with that first cut that they liked, and then they tried to do a horror cut. And then some executives at Fox were kind of nervous about the horror cut because they thought maybe it was too generic, and they didn't want it to flop because Fox did a previous horror film, and that was The Fantastic Four, which was absolutely atrocious.
Wait, that was a horror film?
Exactly. It was supposed to be a body horror film. but you can tell that it was like they interfered. So parts of it are body horror, like when his arms are stretching and all that stuff, and when the Human Torch is on fire, he's like screaming. So anyway, they went down that road before, and they got the reaction that you have right now. So they got nervous, and so they had more reshoots, which pushed the movie back again another year, and then we all know that Disney bought Fox.
Yes.
And so that pushed it back again because Disney wanted this movie. They didn't want this movie to touch any of their movies because if you have two big movies come out at the same time, there'll be a competition, and you don't want to be in competition with yourself because now that Disney owns the film, so they pushed it back. But then some executives at Disney were like, "Yo, this movie sucks," so they ordered another reshoot. So this movie kept having reshoots on reshoots on reshoots on reshoots. And they had to do another cut because apparently this film was supposed to have a bunch of other references to other Fox characters. But Disney, now that Disney owns Fox, they didn't want Fox to interfere with what they were going to do with the X-Men characters.
Right.
So they cut all that stuff out. They only left a reference to the Essex Corporation, and that's it. Probably because he couldn't get around it. On and on and on. This movie kept getting delayed, and then of course the pandemic hit. That pushed things back further. This movie was just it was tortured. It kept being about to come out and then not coming out. About to come out. It
released at the top of the year last year, didn't it?
It released August 28th, 2020. It's hard to remember because the date kept moving. Yeah. It moved a lot. I mean, the release date probably got pushed back. I'm sure the amount of times was in the double digits. It got pushed back a lot. And with all that involved, all the reshoots, all the pushbacks, the fact that we got an okay
a
average
movie?
film, it's like a miracle. I'm like, yeah, okay, you did it, guys. Good job. I'll never watch this movie again, but it's fine. There's nothing here to praise. There's nothing here to dunk on. It is just a perfectly right down the center movie. It almost kind of balances out most wrong opinions a little bit because I find we get movies that are really good or really bad. This movie was perfectly okay.
Pretty, isn't it? Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Okay. It's a perfectly okay in the middle movie to me with subpar dialogue and bad acting and bad what is that, accents, and
accents are bad.
So
yeah, you could tell it was supposed to be like a Breakfast Club type thing. But scary.
Actually, there was a part where I was just about to mention the Breakfast Club. Oh man, there was a part where they when they make her go to sleep and they start playing whatever type of music, 80s music, and they start like having fun out of nowhere and bonding.
Oh right.
I was like,
right. There's a scene in the film where they drug the doctor, and so they go up to the roof or the attic or something, and they're playing music and dancing around, and it's super corny.
What did you do to her?
I may have spiked her tea.
I was like, okay, Breakfast Club 2.0. Okay, but you ain't do it better. Hey.
The Breakfast Club.
Don't
But I mean, I can see how the idea.
forget about me.
But see, I can see how the idea of a scary version of the Breakfast Club, I could see how that might be interesting. Now, this movie wasn't that interesting, but I could see why they did this. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, sure. But there are other movies. There are other movies I watch where I'm like, whose idea was this? Why did they do that? But I can see why this might appeal to
the
someone.
irony of the song that says "Don't you forget about me." I think I forgot about this movie.
Yeah, the plot. I can't stress enough that we have not really talked about the plot of this film because it's forgettable. I forgot about the movie instantaneously. The second I turned it off, it was like boop out of my head.
I'm gonna say a Jeremy Johns line when he rates his movies. Yep, not gonna remember this movie in T-1 day.
I mean, I watched this movie a couple days ago, and it's already out of my mind. So, I mean, all I remember is bad accents, cool sword, bear, credits. That's the movie.
Yep. So that's what we got for you guys today. We have the New Mutants, where we both find it in the middle, mediocre. That's what Fox gave you with the New Mutants. What we got coming up next, though, is the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 5. Bruh.
Steve believed in you. Let's take the shield.
Are you? We can't just run up on him.
I'm Bucky.
Sir?
Don't flirt with my sister.
The legacy of that shield is complicated.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, the stuff that they talk about, the stuff that they do in this series and in this episode is it's so good.
I have to say that I looked back, I watched our previous episode, nailed it. I'm like a sniper rifle. I was like, perfect. I said this will be the perfect episode to slow down.
Yeah.
Did this not slow down? Man, I was like, and we'll learn more about Isaiah. Sniper rifle.
Yep. You nailed it, man.
But that being said, I still enjoyed it. Just like it sounds like you did too.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it because it starts off, picks up, the whole world. The previous episode, the whole world is watching, and everyone saw John Walker do what he did, and John Walker is feeling the brunt of it. He's running into like this abandoned warehouse, and he's like trying to collect his thoughts, and he's like
pacing around. He's trying to justify the murder in his head, on and on and on.
And then he's like, get back to work. And then Bucky and Sam comes out of nowhere, and they're like, you gotta get us that shield back, man. You messed up.
But before they started fighting, I liked that both Bucky and Sam were on the same page, which is rare for this show. They're usually an opposition, but they both were trying to quietly and calmly tell John Walker to give them the shield. They were like, "Look, we don't need to fight. Just you made a mistake. They'll forgive you if you just tell the truth and you give us the shield. That's it." But John Walker, of course, was hyped up on some super soldier serum, and he could not. And he was like, "Nah, we gotta fight."
Yep.
And I liked the line where they're like, "You don't want to do this," and you're like, "We do."
Bucky's like, "Yeah, we do."
You don't want to do this.
Yeah, we do.
So
because they're like, we're not leaving without that shield.
It was a really good fight scene, back and forth. There's a point where John Walker gets the upper hand on Sam, and he's like, "I am Captain America," and he rips his wings off, and he was about to do the same thing he did to dude with the shield, and Bucky comes out of nowhere, tackles him, and they just basically tag team them. And it kind of reminds me of when the Avengers was trying to take the gauntlet off of Thanos' arm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they took the shield, and they broke his arm in the process.
Well, before they broke his arm and took the shield, that image that you had of Captain America with the shield standing over a black man about to kill him, and I thought that was really a really interesting image, and I kind of felt like the movie or the show missed an opportunity to really like say something about a white man dressed in stars and stripes. He's an authority figure about to kill a black man. I'm like, yeah, that looks and feels a lot like what's going on right now in the news with these unarmed killings. So I kind of wish the movie had went a little the show went a little further and talked about that moment. But you're right, they took the shield, but specifically, and I think they did this for the trolls. I think specifically, Bucky takes the shield, and he takes the shield, and Sam is on his back, and Bucky drops the shield and gives it to Sam. And I thought this was for the trolls because, let's be honest, a lot of comic book dorks and nerds are white guys, which makes them kind of conservative, and they always want the white guy to be Captain America, to be in the lead. So I think a lot of people wanted Bucky to be Captain America, and the fact that Bucky explicitly said, I do not want to be Captain America. He explicitly dropped the shield, gave it to Falcon. I think that was probably smart, and I think it cut a lot of like stupid discussion like at the root.
Right. Agreed. He dropped that shield right there, and then he was just basically like, don't lose it.
Right.
And it flashed forward to them going back to America, getting back to New Orleans, and Sam has to collect himself and see what's going on with his sister and see what's going on with this boat. And this boat is basically, it's in their family, but it ain't sellable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
the boats become a metaphor for a legacy. Yes. Right. And this was the Wilson family legacy was this boat. The boat's named after their parents. They've been trying to fix up and sell this boat because the Wilson family's not doing so well financially. So Sam goes back to Louisiana to help his sister fix up and sell the boat.
He calls like several people in the neighborhood that's friends with the family, and it was the calls like, hey boy, how you doing? Hey man, I've seen you for a long time. You a little boy type of stuff. And it was like, hey man, I need a favor. He's like, what it is? What you got? They all came together, and the whole neighborhood came out and helped fix this boat up. And out of nowhere, Bucky comes out of nowhere. Oh wait, we skipped a part. We definitely skipped a part here. After the whole thing of did that come later? Where John Walker, he's in this little, a slingshot for his arm. He gets back to the United States.
Yeah. So the show kind of cuts back and forth, I think, between them fixing this boat and then going back, showing what John Walker's up to. And yep, they broke John Walker's arm in the fight, and John Walker's arm is in a sling, and the United States government is like, they're telling him that you're no longer Captain America, and that he's being retired, not dishonorably discharged, but just retired. He's just gone. And so they give him, I think it's like the Medal of Valor. I think they give him that, and then they tell him, give us back the shield. You're done.
And they said you won't get no benefits, you won't get no money, none of that stuff.
But see, this is, again, I think this is a slight missed opportunity. I would have liked to see the government lie, like they would have in the real world, and be like, oh, that guy he killed, he was a terrorist, he meant to, and his life is in danger, and that would have been more interesting to me. Yeah. But no, this is one of those rare times when if the government
if they did that, it wouldn't give the launch off to what John Walker does at the end of the end credit scene, because if
they could have. Just give him a new costume. He's just getting a new costume.
Oh, this is just a new costume, but not a new purpose?
He can have a new purpose. These shows, they spend so much time on costumes. Even this show, a character towards the end, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, but a character towards the end gives Sam Wilson a case. We all know it's in the case. It's a new Captain America costume. And just like with WandaVision, that whole show is about trying to give Wanda a new costume. So yes, at the end of this show, John Walker he seems to go off on his own to become the U.S. agent we all know. Yeah. The U.S. agent we know from the comics, and he's building his own shield. But he could just build another shield, and the government could be like, yeah, you're right, Sam Wilson stole the shield, and now there's a manhunt for Sam Wilson. I don't know. I think all that stuff is more interesting. But no, it was a lot. It was a lot more, like you said, a lot more smooth. The government, they retired John Walker as a serving member of the military, and they retired him as Captain America. He's no longer Captain America.
Yeah.
So the MCU at the moment has no Captain America.
Now, who was this lady that came to him outside of the courtroom? What was her purpose? I can't remember. Val? Something.
Val. Mm-hmm. So she was played by Julianne Dreyfus, great actress from most popularly known from Seinfeld. So from what I understand is that character was supposed to show up in Black Widow. Again, the pandemic has messed up Marvel's plans, and Black Widow is now coming out after this series.
Right.
So apparently that character is supposed to make her grand appearance in Black Widow. Instead, she's making it here, and it was a little awkward, a little strange. But I think the character in the comics, that character, she's kind of like a morally gray character. She's sometimes she's good and works with Nick Fury. Sometimes she's bad. So she's kind of all over the place. But she's definitely a spy in the comics. She's like 100. Sometimes she's just a regular spy. Sometimes she's a double agent. Sometimes she's a triple agent. She's like, her character is all
Wherever
over the place.
the money pays
comics,
her, she gonna go.
Comics are weird. So they just do whatever they want with her. So if I had to guess, because she finds John Walker after he is retired from being Captain America, and he's like sulking with his wife, and he's still kind of upset. She walks into the room, and she gives him a proposition, and to join, like, sounds like her. Now, to me, all that to me sounds like she might be making an evil version of the Avengers. And this is in the comics. This is sometimes called the Thunderbolts. So maybe she will be kind of a Nick Fury version, like
yeah.
She's Nick Fury for the bad Avengers. That's what it looks like it could be. But.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Also, you're right that with this episode it does jump between the boat and stuff. But before we get to the Wilson family fixing the boat, Bucky is meeting Zemo in Sokovia at the memorial, and he confronts him, and he puts a gun to his head, and he pulls that trigger, and nothing comes out. And right when that happens, the Dormelage comes up and says,
"Well, sorry, I cut you off, but I think that scene was like before the Dormelage show up.
Right.
Zemo is expecting the Winter Soldier to come,
right.
And of course, the Winter Soldier does come, and we all know what it means when the Winter Soldier comes. He's gonna, make you a thing in the past. He's gonna shoot you, right? And so Zemo's like, "Oh, you're late. I thought you would be here earlier." He's fully expecting this to be the end. He's sitting there in reverence at the memorial, and the Winter Soldier holds up a gun, but he fires the gun, but it's empty, and he drops all the bullets on the ground. And I think that's to show that he is different now. He is no longer the Winter Soldier that Zemo thinks he is, and he allows the Dormelage to take him instead of him being shot, which seemed to be what Zemo wanted. Zemo was like nodding. He was like, "Yeah, do it." But
because he's a broken rich man.
Yep,
he's a broken rich man who lost everything, his family, and then he's like, I kind of set out to do what I need to do. Carly's still out there roaming the world, and
he probably expects everyone else to be just as broken as he is.
Yeah.
But the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky, he's a better person now.
Yes.
And I think that's supposed to contrast with like the first episode where he
keeps asking.
He's supposed to be apologizing to people, but he's doing it in the most violent way. He's like crashing cars, and but now he's truly moved on. He's truly left his villainous, the villain life behind.
Yeah, and then he's actually following one of the therapist's rules: don't hurt people.
Right. Exactly.
And he allows Dormelage to take him, and then what was the leader name? What was her name?
Ayo.
Yeah, she's like, you might want to stand clear of Wakanda for right now. And then he's like, I got one more favor to ask you. which we see that when he returns to Sam, he brings him a suitcase, and we like the suitcase you just said. We all know what that's going to be. It's either going to be a brand new Captain America outfit with wings, or just the wings by itself. We do not know.
There's no wings in that thing.
There's no wings in there?
No. I'm making my next prediction now. There's no wings in that thing. The wings are going to go to Torres. He literally said, keep them. There's like a close-up on his face. He's like, keep them. And the guy goes, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we know. I got it. You're going to be the new Falcon. Got it. And then at the end, I feel like they really like put a button on it with the suit, which I'm assuming is a new case. So
okay,
there's no wings.
Let's make that prediction for the next episode. So
that way I can be wrong. You know, again, by the time this comes out, we'll all know that I'm wrong. So
yeah. So throughout the whole process of fixing things up, he sees his sister and he's flirting with Sam's sister. She's like, "Hey,"
oh yeah, Bucky's flirting with Sam's sister.
And then he's like, "I'm Bucky." She's like, "I'm Sarah."
Exactly.
And then he's like, "Man, keep away from my sister, man."
Well, Anthony Mackie, his comedic timing is really good. It's because, like you said, Bucky's like, "Hi, I'm Bucky," and she's like, "Hi," and she's like, you know. But in the background, Anthony Mackie's like,
Oh, God.
Look at Diddy.
He's just watching it.
Yep.
It's really funny.
And
he's like, "No, this is not going to happen."
Their chemistry is really good on screen. Mm-hmm. Now, cut to a very important part where Sam goes back to Baltimore, and he sees the Patriot out there playing basketball, and
Isaiah's grandson.
Yep. And then he's like, "Where's he at?" "He's inside. I'll be in there." Yeah. She never comes in, but
no.
They have a good conversation about the shield, and he's like, "Get that thing out of here."
Really good conversation.
And I'll let you explain most of this part, man. You go ahead and explain this.
So Isaiah's inside, and he doesn't want Sam to even open the case with the shield in it. He's like, "I don't want that thing in here. Don't open that case. Keep it closed."
Leave it covered. Those stars and stripes don't mean nothing good to me.
And he talks to Sam. Isaiah talks to Sam about his time as, I guess, Captain America. I don't know, during his time with the super soldier serum. And he essentially gives the whole backstory of Red, White, and Black, where there are multiple black men who were given different versions of the super soldier serum. Only one worked because the others died horribly, and they're like disfigured again, just like in the comics. And he talks about the legacy of that shield, the legacy of being Captain America, and he says no self-respecting black man would want to be Captain America because of what that shield represents. And like you said, I thought that was like quite profound, because we all, I mean, at this point, we all know where this show's going. Sam's going to become Captain America, and it's like, wow, how does that was like a super powerful thing that Marvel said.
How does Sam battle with that? It's like you want to do good so much, but you also, know that this country don't care, man. This country does not care.
And Bucky, and what I think is a really good show of character development for him, he has a line like both Bucky and Sam are like not playing, but practicing with the shield. they're practicing with the shield, and Bucky tells Sam, he admits that maybe Captain America made a mistake, which previously, Captain America can make no mistakes in Bucky's mind, and he's like, Captain America, he didn't understand how profound it is to hand the shield over to a black man, and I thought that was like a really powerful, also another really powerful line.
He said, I never understood the weight of, Steve basically doing that, giving that to you, as a black man, and you can't, because the history, just like Isaiah said, they've been doing stuff like this for 500 years to our people, and
and within the MCU in particular, Isaiah said something that I'm not even sure was even in the comics. I can't remember. because I read this comic. So I read Red, White, and Black so long ago. But he said that the government told them that they didn't even tell them they were getting the super soldier serum. They said it was. He said it was something for something. It was like the shot was for something else.
Tetanus.
So yeah. So I'm like, they really nailing the whole Tuskegee experiment parallel with Isaiah.
I swear, man, Stan Lee was a genius putting this stuff together. Like putting.
Well, again, he didn't write it,
but I'm saying him saying, you know, that's good. Print it up.
Right.
You know, and other people that wrote this stuff underneath the house of Marvel. It's like to have those type of people, you know, that work for you, to have that type of insight on American culture and using real life things to mirror superheroes. It's amazing. That's the whole thing about Marvel. That's why I really like Marvel a little bit more than DC because it's like it's so rooted in reality.
Yeah. DC can get a little airy with like the gods and all this stuff, and where Marvel is a lot more grounded. But you were talking about the writers for Marvel. I read a recent article about I can never pronounce this man's last name, so forgive me. I think his name's Sam Brubaker. He is a writer, comic book writer, and he wrote and created the Winter Soldier. And he talked about how he is not watching the show because he is surprised and shocked at how well received his character is. But because of that, he's expecting Marvel to, like, you know, pay him more money because of how popular his character is. But Marvel is not. Now, this is not unusual. This is pretty standard fare when dealing with, you know, these big companies like Marvel. Yeah. But Marvel hasn't given him any extra money, and he said that he's gotten more money from SAG, the screen. Gosh, I can't even remember what SAG stands for anymore. But it's the movie people. Thank you, Screen Actors Guild. He's gotten more money from the Screen Actors Guild than he ever got from Marvel, and he worked for Marvel for a long time, and he invented the Winter Soldier. So there is some sticky stuff when it comes to the writers and whether or not they're getting the kind of due that they should be getting from Marvel. But again, I'm not trying to pick on Marvel. This is not unusual for these big companies, but it's still not right that they're not that someone who's so influential isn't getting anything from Marvel. That seems wrong.
That's like DC not paying the family of Bob Kane.
Yeah, and Bill Finger.
Yeah. So,
but so Bob Kane and Bill Finger, they invented Batman. Yeah. But Bill Finger's whole name was like scrubbed out.
Yeah, it was.
They are only recently are they crediting, is DC publicly crediting Bill Finger for helping create Batman. And I mean super recent, like maybe the last 6 or 7 years.
Which is why I said
Batman's been around. Yeah, exactly. Batman's been around since 1930 something. So it's been
1939,
a long time. A lot of these big companies, they don't really take care of their creators like you would expect them to.
Yeah, but those scenes that Isaiah had, it was very powerful. The line that Bucky had was extremely powerful, and Sam starts training, boy. He starts training. They start playing the music. And they start, he starts throwing the, which is, Spider-Man was correct. It doesn't obey the laws of physics at all. That shield.
Well, it's not supposed to, right? It's made of vibranium.
It's the lightest and strongest metal in the world. So it's fake.
It's fake. But it's also supposed to take any like hits and like dissipate it. So it makes sense that if it hits something else, it'll reverb and bounce back. Like it makes sense. Now in the comics, it's not made out of just vibranium. It's made out of an alloy of vibranium and adamantium, but they couldn't say the word adamantium because that was owned by Fox, but now it's not owned by Fox. Now it's owned by Disney. Blah 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 blah. But yes, the shield, MCU shield, is made out of straight vibranium. So it makes sense that it can bounce around. I don't know. I'm okay with it.
And there's a point I caught it, and I'm pretty sure other people caught it, where Sam is running and he does this super front flip, and you can see the stunt man, and it's not him.
Yeah,
I was
true.
like, ooh. I was like, that's
true.
That's
You
not
can
Anthony
tell.
Mackie.
That's okay though. It didn't bother
I
me.
know,
I'm like, all right.
It didn't bother me either, but I just know this is.
At least it wasn't some kind of CGI thing, you know. It wasn't like some
Yeah.
kind of nasty CGI thing like they do with Spider-Man sometimes. At least it was like a real guy. So all right, fine.
So flash forward to by now, I think Sharon Carter is the power broker, dude.
I feel like they straight up told you she's the power broker. Now, there's a reason. I'm not sure why they're not being explicit about it, but she's on the phone speaking to a guy who's clearly speaking French, and then later we see yeah. Later there's a French guy. I think his name is Batroc, who also appeared in the first episode, and now that person's working with Carly. So I'm like, oh, she seemed to have brokered a deal. She may have used her power to broker a deal. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, basically. And like Carly, the guy that's like Carly's right hand man, the long haired guy, he was like, "We're working with criminals now." She's like, "Haven't you heard? We are criminals." And she hits this button, and like all freaking people, where were they? In the Central Park, and they all like the whole park just came together. And then I saw this old guy that I was like, "What the hell are you gonna do?" he's a part of the Flash Smashers, and it's like, man, you don't take your old hot dog eating ass.
Well, they show that not all the Flag Smashers physically fight though. Some of them will just they'll be in the boardroom while all the big talks are going on, and maybe they'll spy. So that's fine. Hot dog guy can be part of the Flag Smashers. He might have a role.
He looks 60. Sit down somewhere.
It's really funny.
But they infiltrate this huge board meeting at this company, and they come in there, and one of the main guys you see in the frame, he's in there, and he says, "One people, one world," and they shut down, and everything turns red. And some stuff's about to go down in the next episode, and they go back to Sam being in his house in oh wait before we get to that, Sam has a conversation when they're up there practicing with Bucky. He has a conversation with him, and he says, you're not amending the mistakes, you're avenging the mistakes. You actually need to do the
right. Sam and the Winter Soldier were talking, and Sam was talking to Winter Soldier. Go ahead.
What'd I say?
You just said he.
Oh yes.
I just want to make it clear.
Sorry. Sam was having a conversation with the Winter Soldier, and he was saying that he needs to actually do the groundwork. Bucky, you need to do the groundwork and get out there and actually help the people. They actually had a bro handshake. He was like, "Anytime you need me, I'll be there." I was like, "Oh, look at that!"
Yeah, and it shows that being a villain, who Bucky was for a long time, is very different from being a hero. To be a hero, you got to do the work, like you said. You got to actually help people, not just revenge people, not just get revenge on people or hurt people. You actually have to do work.
Yeah. And Sam is in his apartment, and he's opening up the case, man. Of course, I thought they were...
which he did not open earlier. He was given the case, but he wouldn't open it, and now he's finally.
And I knew they weren't going to show it. I knew they were going to show it.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off too, because we only have one more episode, so whatever's in the case, we're only going to get a few minutes with it. We know it's a new suit, so like, I don't know. Again, Marvel needs to get over this new costume thing. Like, we get it. You want to sell toys.
I know, Marvel, right?
But like, you can at least give him the costume halfway through or something. Like, you're gonna give me one episode.
Gotta sell the
man?
toys for Falcon or
I was kind of annoyed.
New Captain America, whichever one he's gonna be. You make a prediction. It's gonna be a Captain America outfit, or it's gonna be New Wings. But we'll see. which one.
I mean, his version of Captain America did have
Yeah.
wings, so it could be wings in the suit. But you know, I think it'll definitely be a suit.
Yeah. And basically that's where it cuts. It cuts right there, and then at the end, the cut scene where John Walker is making his U.S. agent outfit because he's pissed.
Right, and he seems to be modeling his shield after the Medal of Valor that he got. So that's interesting. And you were talking about the shield bouncing around. His shield better not bounce because it's not made out of vibranium.
If
so
that thing bounces, we're gonna be like, aha,
that's wrong.
Aha,
aha,
aha, aha.
And if Sharon Carter is the power broker, and I hope she is, I want them to go full on. I want her to be like the next big villain. I think they should go all the way. I want her to be completely villainous and have a good guy go bad all the way. Not just kind of in the background. We never see her. I want to see her.
What would you think her motives is? Her motives just because America kicked her out because she did the right thing?
Maybe, it could be, but it also seems like she's highly motivated by money. She's got all these Monets and all that stuff and a big fancy apartment. So, and she seems to have brokered that deal with Batroc and the Flag Smasher. So seems highly motivated by money. So you know, why couldn't it just be money? I like the actress, and I like the idea of one of Captain America's friends who used to be a villain is now a hero, and one of his friends who used to be a hero is now a villain. I like that. I think that's
see
fun.
that.
So I hope they go all the way. way.
Okay. Well, yeah, man. So what do you give this episode? I give it a 9. I give it a 9.
A 9. I think this was a weaker episode. Simply because it did slow down for quite a bit. We spent a long time at the boat. Yep, I did. We spent a long time at that boat, longer than I would have thought. So I think montages can be powerful, but sometimes they can also be boring. And so there were 2 montages here. There's a montage of them fixing the boat, which again, I get it. I get that it's symbolic and it's meant to represent, you know, a family legacy, because at the end they didn't sell the boat. They fixed up the boat and it looks great, and they couldn't sell it. So because they couldn't bring themselves to sell it because it was their legacy.
Don't paint over the name.
Exactly. They're about to paint over the name, and they're like, no, can't do it. And the names are their parents. So they didn't want to do that. They kept the boat. So again, I understand why they had the montage there, but I thought it went on kind of long and it was kind of boring. And then they had another montage where Sam is training, and it's like, okay, yep, get it. He's training. We're building up for something in the future that I'm not going to see in this episode. Fine. And I like the music. I like him training, but all of that, but all of that did slow the episode down. So I don't give it a 9. I think this episode's probably one of the weakest episodes. I like the fight. That fight was awesome. I like the conversation they had. That was good. But I'd probably give this episode maybe a 7.5. It's good. It's fine. But you know, it did slow down, and I was upset that we didn't get a flashback.
Oh yeah, I was
definitely. They just told us
hoping to get some type of flashback with Isaiah, the young Isaiah, going in trying to save his brothers. Man, that would have been great.
Yeah, didn't happen. But oh well. I also was curious why we didn't have a flashback, so I looked up the actor who played Isaiah, and he's actually older than I thought he was. He is wearing old man makeup. Mm-hmm. But he is older than I thought he was. So I guess if they were going to do a flashback, they would need to recast. He just looks young, so they aged him up. They
could just de-age him in the de-aging software, but also hire a stunt double. They could do that.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah, there's a million possibilities. So, but I thought for sure it was going to happen, because I'm like, look at all that makeup he's wearing. It's coming. And now it's too late to do a flashback. So I'm like, why didn't they do it?
But you think they're not going to do it in episode 6, the last episode?
You can't flashback in the last episode. That last episode's especially
it's concluding.
Marvel is predictable. Concluding. Yeah, not only is it concluding, but Marvel they're always building towards their next thing. So they're not gonna look back in the last act of their film. No, they're gonna move forward. They're gonna be planting all these seeds for Sharon Carter being the new power broker, or being the power broker, being a new villain. They're gonna plant the seed where Bucky's got some kind of new mission in life now. We're going to learn about that. We're going to learn about Sam becoming the new Captain America. They got to defeat the Flag Smashers. On and on and on and on. It's got to be a big fight. You know, it's almost certainly going to be a flying fight. Oh, and
it's Marvel flying fights.
And yeah, and the flying fight will be there because they're going to expect you to forget. These are just all my predictions here. They're gonna expect you to forget about Sam's partner, what's his name again? The Torres. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna look like Sam is losing the fight, and then Torres is gonna fly in on the wings that he fixed and save everybody, and you're gonna be like, oh wow, he's the new Falcon. Wow, and he'll be like, hi, bye, and he'll go right past the screen. Yeah, exactly. All this is gonna happen because it's Marvel. They don't do too much to surprise you. They got a formula, so a flashback does not fit into that formula.
Okay. All right. Well, you give it a 7.5. I gave it a 9. Yeah, man, that's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I am just very happy about these Marvel shows, and I cannot wait for the next one to come after this, which I think the next one that comes after this show is Loki, but it's a huge gap.
I think Black Widow comes out first, and then Loki.
Yeah. Black Widow's May, right?
So yeah, May.
Okay, and then Loki's June 11th. All right, cool.
Yeah, and I can say pretty confidently that this, unless Marvel just absolutely falls right on their face in this nice episode, which I don't think they will, unless that happens, this is better than WandaVision. This is much better than WandaVision.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's got a lot more to say. It's got more in its mind. There's more things to do here. So I'm liking this a lot. WandaVision, its creative stuff was more of a veneer. Like they didn't really do anything with the TV show stuff. It was just kind of just like there, came and went.
Yeah.
Didn't even really symbolize much of anything. But this show has a lot.
It's a lot more gravitas and huge and expanding.
Yeah.
And
because it's go to different countries and.
Well, WandaVision is just. Boop.
Yep. Yeah. WandaVision felt really small. It was like an air fight in like somebody's neighborhood, and the whole movie took place in a house, and the house, it changed. It looked different, but yeah, it was a lot smaller.
We don't know where Vision is, but it's just
yeah, he flew off.
Yay!
So we're partners, co-workers, not necessarily a team. No. We look damn good, though.
Yeah.
But
he'll show up at some point.
But that's what we got for you today on this episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Let us know what you thought of both of these, the New Mutants and also the episode 5 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And my name is Tyrone, and you can find me on my band's Instagram, Yerp_ATL, and I am a gamer. And I do Twitch. It's twitch.tv/YerpNationGaming. And please subscribe to my new reaction channel, which is Yerp Nation Reactions.
And I am Devin. You can find me right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions. I've got a personal Instagram. It is DevinHarris29. You can find some of my writing at GeekSleepRepeat.com. We also have a TikTok for Mostly Wrong Opinions. So check that out.
Yeah. And I'm on Mostly Wrong Opinions too. As you can see, I got my, Wakanda's joint, and I got all this stuff, which I'll probably wear in another episode. But don't forget to leave a like, or you can put a dislike, whatever it is your opinion. But just remember, it's mostly wrong. Have a good one.